What happens if you were to combine a 320 with a 2011? Well, then you get the OA Defense 2311. Formerly known as Oracle Arms, this pistol takes Sig 320 mags and is a single action trigger, meaning no double action, just straight single action, almost just like what you would find on a 2011. And they put it in a package that they're marketing towards a duty pistol and a hard use defensive style market. I can appreciate that, but what we're going to determine is if this pistol can truly fit that bill. And more importantly, guys, if you're new to the channel or if you've been here for a while, what I want you to do is please go make sure you're subscribed. After you've done that, like the video and share this video to other people, share it across other social platforms. What that's going to do, it's going to push the algorithms, it's going to help this video be popular. It's also going to help get our message out there and support the 2A community. But more importantly, it will help us promote and make better videos for all of you. Enough talking about all that nonsense. Let's get into the OA Defense 2311. This pistol comes in and is significantly different than everything else you're seeing on the market. It's a full package deal. They ultimately give you everything you need when you buy this pistol. Oracle Arms, or OA Defense, has a few different models of this pistol out on the market now. This model, though, that we're going to review is going to be the 2311 full size. I mean, this has a 5-inch barrel. It does have slide serrations. The slide serrations, they seem good. They're not sharp or anything like that, and they seem to be just deep enough. I would like to probably see a few more extra slide serrations up here on the front end. Now, on the back side here, the slide serrations seem fine, no issues there whatsoever. It does have an external extractor versus an internal one like you see on a 1911 or 2011 design. The barrel on here, though, is going to be a linkless design. What that means is it's very similar to what CZ does on like their shadow style pistols. That also helps the fact that it's easier to take down. We won't be taking this pistol down on video because it's one of those things that's kind of, let's say, looked down upon on YouTube, but there's something you're going to see different too in our video. A lot of folks like to talk about duty pistols. However, when they talk about duty pistols in regards to the LE market, they're not law enforcement, have never been law enforcement, and they don't carry a gun professionally for a living. I, however, do carry a gun professionally for a living. In fact, I carry a Sig 320. So what that allows me to do is ultimately evaluate a pistol and how I may feel, how it would work on patrol use, undercover use, narcotics work, whatever it might be. I can give you some background information and provide you information from real world experience on how a pistol can be for law enforcement type interactions or usage. This pistol, though, out of the box, it has about everything you could possibly want in a pistol. It comes with 5 magazines. That is phenomenal. It comes with all the optics plates that you're going to need to mount the most popular optics on the market. And in general, with all those optics plates, let's say you want to mount a Delta Point Pro. A lot of times when you mount a Delta Point Pro on a pistol, the front sight will not be high enough. Well, Oracle comes with that front sight post, so you could put it up there and still co-witness your iron sights. They mount the iron sight in front of the optic, which is another neat feature, and a lot of times you see that on some high-end custom guns like a Nighthawk. Good to see there as well. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't want to mount an optic on here, no fear, because it comes with a good night vision orange dot night sights on here. Now, grip textures and thumb ledges. This does have thumb ledges on the left and right side of the pistol. And in fact, because it has them on the left and right side of the pistol, that's another fine point about this. This is a completely ambi gun, meaning it has an ambi slide stop, slide release, left and right. It has an ambi safety. The safety on here is positive, it has good detents, and I think it's a good pressure. There was a video that I watched while leading up to this where the gentleman talked about the fact that he thought that they were too weak. I don't personally feel that way. I think it's just enough. If you put your thumb on here, it's not going to fall unless you put downward pressure on there. And I think it's just right. Could you want more? Sure, personal preference. But for me, in a law enforcement capacity, I think it's enough. And in addition to that, let's think if you're coming out of the holster with your gun and you're going to go, let's say aim that gun at a suspect for a felony stop. Well, when you do that, you're coming out of the holster and you're making the determination that you may have to use deadly force because it's reached that level. Again, you may have reached that determination. You're not at it yet. So chances are you're coming out of the holster and the safety's coming down and your finger is off the trigger. And then you go to prep the trigger, and then let's get into that trigger. The trigger on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. There is not a striker fire trigger, and it's better than a lot of the 1911 triggers, I feel. It's really good. There is no creep, and it has a very defined wall with no creep whatsoever at the wall. The pull weight itself, they market it as about 3 to 4 pounds. I'd definitely say it's on that higher 4 side, and it feels good. It is really, really nice. There is like next to no take up, and it's a flat trigger shoe, which is another thing that I really like to see on this pistol. Flat trigger shoes are better when you're getting leverage on the trigger. They help with a straighter trigger pull, and also what that leads you to do is not disturbing the sights quite as much when you're actually pulling the trigger. But it's nice and flat. Again, there's like next to no take up, and then it breaks nice, crisp, and clean. Now, let's say reset, audible, and it's short. It's what you would want if you're wanting to shoot fast. The front up here for the frame, or let's say quote unquote grip module, it does have a pick rail up here. We'll end up mounting a TLR1 HL, and I'll shoot it out of my Blackhawk Omnivore holster for the video. The magazine release on here for your Sig mags or the OA defense magazines that you get with it is good. I don't really have to break my grip any more than what I do on my 320. 320s, I do have to a little bit. They're not my favorite magazine release, but it's not bad. I have to slightly break my grips to do it, but again, for me, I have to do that on my 320 duty pistol. The grip module itself is a little bit on the light side though when it comes to grip textures. OA Defense says that they do that on purpose so that you can either have this grip module sent out to be stippled, you could stipple it on your own, or you could possibly get different grip modules in the future. I think that you're going to see aftermarket support with this pistol due to its uprising in popularity. The magwell on here, or mag funnel I should say, is huge. It's perfect. And you're noticing too, this right here, this is a 320 mag. This is going to be the 21 rounder. It fits perfectly in here and there's no issues whatsoever. And in fact, these actually use 320 magazine releases. So magazine availability, you can find 320 magazines anywhere you go. They're just as available as a Glock mag. They're a little bit more expensive, but I definitely prefer metal magazines over the polymer coated Glock stuff. I have not shot this thing, or this model in particular, whatsoever yet. We were going to get out there, we're going to shoot the heck out of this thing, and we'll determine how this pistol shoots. I shot some of these things at range days for SHOT Show for 2 years now. They seemed good. And what I really want to determine is if this thing is worth the price tag and if it has staying power. And on top of that, if a company's going to market a pistol for the duty market and LE market, I want to determine if it's something that I would carry. Because right now on the surface, it does feel like something I would carry. So let's get out on the range and shoot this thing. We're on the range now with the OA Defense 2311, or formerly Oracle Arms 2311. This thing feels really good in the hand. You'll see I have it loaded up here with a Streamlight TLR1 HL Blackhawk Omnivore holster, HRT arc belt system. I have some Sig mags with me and all that stuff. And if you guys are ever curious about everything that I'm wearing in a video, we link all that stuff in the description. You can go in there, it's gonna take you to our webpage, and it's actually like a kit loadout that you ultimately get to see. But enough of that stuff, let's shoot this thing. Okay. Shoots really good. It's a really good shooting and feeling pistol. That trigger is phenomenal. To test out the OA Defense 2311, I'm going to run it through a few stages of the OPATA qual course, which the OPATA is the Ohio Police Officers Training Academy qualification course for police officers in Ohio to qualify to carry a gun on duty. I just shot this thing about, I don't know, 15 rounds, whatever, just to get it zeroed, somewhat zeroed. The issue is that this shield uses a stupid little Allen key, and I can't zero it because I don't have a small enough one for it. But it's close enough for government work for this, and it should be fine. So let's shoot this a little bit. First stage is actually from retention. If you don't know what retention is, it means you're ultimately going to shoot from a close quarters retention scenario. For the record too, guys, I obviously carry a 320. I don't use any pistols for duty use or carry that have a safety on it. So a lot of folks are like, oh, I don't know about having a safety. It's really not that hard. It's just as you come down and get your master grip, you flick that safety off. Next stage is actually to the chest and one to the head. I'm actually considerably further than what you generally need to be. It's close. It's usually like 4 yards, whatever. We're not very far away. I'm not running this strictly to it. Again, for myself, a lot of times I'll run it out. I'm just looking for speed. The next stage is going to be 4 rounds with your dominant hand and 4 rounds with your left hand, or non-dominant hand in my case. You ultimately transfer over on those grips. Then you stand by for a buzzer. Next stage is 3 rounds, emergency reload, 3 rounds. What's a little different, right there I noticed on the reload, is that, you know, for me, it's actually hard for me to ultimately reach up and get that slide stop, slide release, but it was very simple for me to come up with my support hand and hit that. That's something that has to be trained in with a pistol like this because it's considerably different than what I would be used to. So this is 35 feet. I'm actually a lot further than 35 feet, but I'm gonna shoot this now. This is 3 rounds. And then actually, this is 50 feet, quote unquote, and Andrew's gonna show you the target from where he's standing. As you can see, we're far further than 50 feet, and where I'm standing is further than where Andrew's at. But it's always, like I said, it's one of those things, I'll kind of just, I game it, but when I game it, I'll actually throw more distance in there than what I need to do. So I just ran the OA 2311 through a crude, rudimentary version of the Opata course. I did all the stages. The pistol really shoots great. It's very easy to shoot, and for somebody coming from a 320 to this, I think it's an easy transition. I shoot a lot of guns. I've shot in a lot of 2011s and 1911s, so I don't have any issues with the safety. But again, like I said, coming down to the pistol is you come in thumb high on every pistol you shoot. So if you come in thumb high on this pistol, and then you bring your other grip in and you come down on the pistol, it's very easy to hit that safety. And the fact that these are so large is a good thing. There were a few folks I saw complaining, but I actually prefer the fact of how large these safeties are, because it's easy to come down on the pistol and ultimately deactivate that safety switch. So let's throw a few more rounds downrange now. So far, what did I have? How many mags did I load up here? A bunch. All of them loaded at capacity, no issues on reloads. I find it very easy just to come up and deactivate or release that slide release with my support hand thumb. I know some people like talk about doing it with my, like your trigger finger, which you could do. But that ledge, what I noticed when I was just sitting here shooting the head box on this target, my dot, I can't quite get it zeroed like I said, but this thing is super easy to keep flat, and you could really drive that pistol down ultimately, not really driving it down, but keep it held down with those gas pedal or thumb ledges on there. And so you know, also using your firing hand, support hand, or dominant hand, support hand on there, and both of them grabbing onto ledges, and you can really control that recoil. So I really look forward to putting more rounds down range. I'm thoroughly impressed. This thing really shoots well. And the fact, like I said, that for a 320 user, it takes 320 mags is pretty sweet, because this shoots better than any 320 I've ever shot. We're gonna run a bunch more rounds through this thing. Right now, I'm honestly thoroughly impressed with it. It shoots really well. It shoots like a 2011. It shoots like the Staccatos I've shot, except it takes 320 mags. And again, like I said, I can tell you, because I've shot so many 320s, this shoots better than any 320 I've shot. The safeties on it feel good, the trigger's great. We'll show you guys that trigger here shortly, but I'm gonna run a few more rounds to this thing on steel, and then I'll walk you through that trigger under live fire. The thumb ledges on here, when you truly use them, unlike I'm ever really used to, they seriously help. The trigger's so short. Love it. I feel like a child shooting this. It's so much fun to shoot, especially after we just filmed the H9, which I was not a fan of. This thing is fantastic. What I want to do now is I'm going to walk you guys through that trigger pull or trigger press with the OA 2311. I think you guys, what I've really noticed shooting this so far is I'm so used to shooting striker fire guns, or really a lot of other 1911s that have quite a bit of take up. And this doesn't have it. In fact, I've caught myself almost like getting maybe trigger freeze because it's so short, and I'm like, oh, am I there? Am I in the right location? So I'll show you guys how short it is. And in addition to that, we'll get you some close-ups of me utilizing that thumb ledge. So this is gonna be, again, single-handed. All right, so that's it. There's nothing else. That's the wall. And your reset. That's it. One of probably the shortest resets I've noticed. It's shorter than the staccato triggers that I've shot. It's shorter than like a TRP. It's super short. So, I mean, coming down the trigger, so obviously you have your safety. That's it. You see that? That's it. Me hitting the wall. It's easy to find. It's not so light that you're going to make it go, you know, off when you don't want it to. It's very easy to get. That trigger is phenomenal. It's really darn good. I think it's a really, really good weight for a duty pistol. You can't have super lightweight triggers. In addition to that, unfortunately, it has come out in court at times on guns where people are like, oh, you know, maybe it has a super light trigger, that's unsafe. You know, I'm not really that way personally. However, the trigger, it breaks so crisp and so cleanly, and at a good weight of like 4.5 pounds, I'd say, it's just really, really effective. So going into the pistol, when you go in with your grip, when you come down on the pistol, you can see I can actually grip the pistol, come down with my thumb. It's gonna ride that safety, and then this other thumb, I get it up on that ledge. So you see that thumb's on that ledge. Something to note, if you're somebody that's never shot a 2011 before, comparison to striker fire guns, they feel like a cheat code. If you are a proficient shooter, you can shoot them faster than what you can ever really shoot a striker fire gun. That's the reason that they ultimately rule competition shooting. You know, they've really started to trickle into the duty market for law enforcement officers, and I think for good reason. This thing just, it feels like a cheat code compared to shooting a regular 320. You know, can I say it shoots better than staccato? I'd have to shoot the two of them side by side to really make that determination. It's cheaper, I can tell you that, and it takes 320 mags, which I happen to really like. We've burned about 400 rounds so far through this OA Defense 2311, formerly Oracle Arms 2311, and it has been absolutely phenomenal for us. I am absolutely loving shooting this. It's a lot of fun to shoot. I got 2 mags left. Let's finish it out, and I'll give you those final thoughts. The OA Defense 2311 is a phenomenal pistol. I think this thing really changes, and it feels like a 2011 yet taking those Sig mags. It feels good. It has a different design as far as not having, you know, the linked barrel, linkless design like that. The safeties feel good. Everything about this thing feels really good. The trigger is absolutely phenomenal. Good magazine well on there. It fits well. You know, if I was to give it a negative, I think that they needed to include the Sig 21 rounders, or make some 21 rounders and put it with this pistol, because these are ultimately a better duty mag. They index much better with that magwell versus being flush fit. However, they do put a cutout if you want to strip your magazines. The grip textures on here, they're a little bit minimal. I'd like them to be more. I think it could be, you know, I would probably stipple this if I was myself. The grip circumference is much more forgiving than a standard 2011, and it feels really good in the hand. These slide stop, slide releases, easy to activate, easy to do. The thumb ledges, if you utilize them, they truly change how this pistol shoots, and you can really run this pistol. Ultimately, it's like a duty gun that shoots like a race gun and is more compatible with those 320 mags than everything else on the market. It's really a sweet setup. We're going to continue to shoot this thing, but again, like I said, stay tuned. We will compare it to a Staccato P, we'll compare it to an AXG Legion, and if we find something else we think fits, we'll compare it to that as well. But more importantly, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video to everybody else.